All right, what's up, guys? New Moon Rapture here. Just want to talk to you, little open mic here about a few things. I gained so much weight. Now I'm starting to work out again, and it seems like today I walked like 3 miles, and I feel fatter. I feel fatter. It's like when you're shrinking, I think like it's pushing back out. So I don't know. I gained a bunch of weight, but I'm starting to work out as a few days ago. I got some new shoes and everything. So, anyways, enough about me. So there's an idea that I've heard a long time ago, and that sometimes gets said nowadays about numbers, about numerical things that they came from when the Jews were in Babylon and for 70 years, and they brought it out of there. Now that's a complete lie. That is not true. And the reason is because if that's the case, then how come the numerical mysteries begin in Genesis chapter 1, verse 1? How come? How is that? You see, because Genesis chapter 1 was written by Moses, not in Babylon, nothing to do with Babylon, and he's pointing all the way back to the beginning. So from Genesis 1 on, you have absolute number miracles all the way through. Now, there's guys that get like way far deep into it. And they show, you can look it up online. They show you things that are just mind blowing from Genesis 1 all the way through. I mean, patterns and numbers that you can't even imagine. But I can show you like about Genesis chapter 1, verse 1. And if there's something there, which there's a bunch there, then it didn't come from Babylon. Because then you're saying that Moses was influenced by, Babylon and Babylonian tactics, and that when, he's pointing back to the beginning, Genesis 1:1, that's from Babylon. And you best not say that, right? That's not true. We know that. So we go to Genesis chapter 1, verse 1 to just disprove this, okay? Because if it's found from Genesis 1:1, then it can't be from Babylon. And it's not. So you go to Genesis 1:1. I've talked about this before. But Genesis chapter 1, verse 1, holds amazing numerical miracles, basically. Genesis 1:1 in the Hebrew writing. In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth. Well, in the Hebrew, the numerical value in standard, it's called standard Gematria in the Hebrew language. The numerical value is 2701. Okay, 2701. Now, I've talked about this before. But 2701, if you add it to itself backwards, plus 1072, you get the value 3773. Now, this number right here it's an amazing number, okay? But let me show you another thing. 2701 plus itself backwards, 3773. Now, if you take 3773 and multiply it, 37 times 73, now you get the value back to 2701. 2701. Now, how's that possible? This numerical mystery of 3773, when you take the value of Genesis 1 in Hebrew, it's 2701, add it to itself backwards, it's 3773. Then if you take the 3773 and multiply it, 37 times 73, you're back at 2701. Is that from Babylon? It's not from Babylon. So numbers, the numerical connection between numbers and letters in the Hebrew in this instance is 100% from the beginning of the Bible on. This is just a teeny tiny sliver to give you a glimpse, okay? And what is 3773? Well, it's not just any random number. These two numbers are very special, okay? And the reason is because 37, let me write this down, 37 and 73 are the numerical values for the word wisdom. Wisdom. Wisdom in ordinal gematria, in the Hebrew tongue, in the Hebrew language, equals 37, and wisdom in standard gematria equals 73. And the reason that this is special is because Proverbs 3:19. Proverbs 3:19 says this, that God founded the earth by his wisdom. So all of creation was from God's wisdom. 37:73. And these are the numbers you find hidden in a mystery in Genesis 1:1. Because in the beginning God created the heaven and the earth. Well, how did he do that? Through his wisdom. And wisdom equals 37 in ordinal gematria and 73 in standard gematria. And that's Proverbs 3:19. So that is a mega mystery in Genesis chapter 1 verse 1, showing you that numbers and letters had been connected since Genesis 1:1, pointing way before Babylon. Your entire Bible is numerical mysteries and patterns from the beginning. So this whole idea that don't pay attention to numbers and they're from Babylon is a lie. They might have done some things with numbers in Babylon, but that's not where it came from. And also it just keeps going on and on and on, but 37 and 73, 37 is the 12th prime number and 73 is the 21st prime number. So you see, what do you see? Palindromes. From left to right and right to left. This is called a palindrome. Even when you look at which prime numbers they are. Because 37 is the 12th one and 73 is the 21st one. Again, a palindrome. Same from left to right, and then right to left. So it's showing you really a cycle or a circle. Right? It's showing you a reflection or a mirror as well. And we're going to talk about that also, reflections and mirrors. Where does this idea come from? Well, it comes from the Bible, and the whole story in the Bible is reflections. Or you could say mirrors, but I like reflections. And you start in the garden with the first Adam, and then you end in the garden with the last Adam, Jesus Christ. So the beginning and the end, it's like a palindrome. Starts off and ends up very similar. And then in between you have other cycles, like the wheels within the wheels. A cycle within a cycle, within a cycle, within a cycle. Almost like dimensions, okay? And God tells us these things in the Bible itself. He tells you about this cycle pattern in Ecclesiastes. I'll probably spell it wrong. In Ecclesiastes chapter 1 verse 9 and chapter 3 verse 15. In 1:9 he says that there's nothing new under the sun. What was done will be done again. What was then is now, what was now will be. There's nothing new under the sun, 1:9. And then in Genesis 3:15, I meant to say Ecclesiastes 3:15. He says these things must repeat themselves. God requires this. So in very large, and that's what he does, God does in the Old Testament, is he leaves us clues as to repetition, cycles. Like with Joshua, okay? Joshua means Jesus, and he fought all the seed of the serpent tribes at a place called Ai. Well, that's a picture, a reflection of the last days. That Jesus is going to be fighting Ai. See that? That's what the place was called. And even in that story, there was a character named In the Old Testament, Elon. I mean, it's spot on prophecy here. So, right, so reflections. So that's what the Bible is built on, or showing us reflections and cycles, patterns. And for prophecy, you need to see these things. So that's why, like with numbers, you take the same logic with numbers sometimes, and you see amazing miracles. As I've shown, like the number 726, number for Harpazo, where we get, the rapture. And then, first of all, if you subtract its reflection, 627, you get the value 99 left over, which is the value for rapture. Rapture equals 99 in simple gematria. Okay, I've gone over that. But if you add it to itself, you get the number 1353. And again, this is an amazing number, because in the Strong's Concordance, it means redemption. And then when you multiply this number, the one in multiplication cancels out, but either way. 1 times 3 times 5 times 3 once, you get the value of 45, which is the square root of 2025. Meaning 45 times 45 is 2025. And this is from the rapture, Harpazo. You see that clue there? Okay? But it gets even better, as I've shown you guys, when you multiply it twice. 1 times 3 times 5 times 3, and then do it again. Times 1 times 5, either way, 1 times 3 times 5 times 3. So instead of doing it once, do it twice, all the numbers, and you literally get the number 2025 from Harpazo. When you add it to its reflection, you get 1353. Multiply it once, you get the square root of 2025. Multiply it twice, you get the number 2025. 2025. You see that? How amazing that is? You think that's by coincidence? Yeah, right. Okay? Yeah, right. And I believe subscriber Daniel showed that one to me. And thank you, Daniel. I'll never forget that revelation. It's awesome. But when he showed me that, then I saw Daniel 12:12 there. So Daniel 12:12, as I've shown you guys these, and again, 12:12, 12 times 12 equals 144. Okay, key number there. But Daniel 12 says, blessed is he who waits and comes to the 1335 days. So 1335 days, you have the exact same numbers, just in a different order. So 1335 is the same as 1353. It all multiplies the same. You multiply them each once, you get the number 45. You multiply them twice, like we just did, you get the number 2025. I mean, come on, man. You got it with Harpazo. You got it with Daniel, chapter 12:12. And as I've shown you guys before, you think, I mean, come on. We're there, guys. Like, we're there. It's this year, okay? And then you go to the ark. The dimensions of the ark, right? So the dimensions are 300 cubits long, and 50 cubits wide, and 30 cubits high. So 300 long, 50 wide, and 30 high. And when you multiply it once, you get 450,000. Now you see the 45 there, right? 45, we just went over what that is. But when you multiply them twice, 300 times 50 times 30 times 300 times 50 times 30, you get 25 with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 zeros. 2025 with 8 zeros. 8 people got on the ark. 8 is the number for new beginnings. 8 is the number for eternity. And it's the same thing. You see that? you got the number 353. So if you minus all the zeros, you have 45 and 2025 again for the dimensions of the ark. You think that God is trying to tell us it's this year? Yeah, it's this year, all right. 100 million% this year. And I've been saying it's 2025 since 2023. You can scroll down on my YouTube and on my Instagram and look at the videos I was posting. I was posting about 2025 Feast of Trumpets over 2 years ago. Again, I'm not saying it's 100% the Feast of Trumpets, but that's my first high watch date. And there's a few key dates after that. So yeah, basically this video is a short video. I wanted to show you that numbers were from the beginning. Okay. They're from Genesis 1 on, the numerical magic, so to speak. The numerical miracles started Genesis 1 and go to Revelation, and so it can't be from Babylon. Absolutely cannot be. It was, unless your Bible is from Babylon, and none of us agree on that. So it was from Genesis 1 to 1.